I'm just going to read a small press release on the royal couple and their choice of name for the baby, Prince George. When the royal couple and I were discussing names for their baby, I tentatively, humbly suggested my own. Now, Wills and Kates agreed it would be fitting. However, they appear to have got their wires crossed, and rather than going with the regal-sounding Prince Superbard, they went with my other name, George Lewkowicz. I noticed they left the Lewkowicz out. Now, I just want to make sure they're fully informed as to how bad a name George is. 1. It sounds like to judge someone so harshly you eat them. I George you. 2. It can't be shortened except to G or Big G or Little G or Prince G. Now, I don't really look like a G, and I suspect the prince won't either. 3. It can be lengthened, but only by feminising it. So you have sort of Georgie or Georgia or Georgina. The J of George is actually quite difficult to say as a child, so that was fine for me, but he'll come up with some cute approximation. Now, that cute approximation will get out to the press, and he will have to live with it for the rest of his life. 5. Famous Georges may include George Clooney, I suppose, but they also include George Osborne, George Lucas, George Bush, George Bush Sr., George of the Jungle, and particularly inappropriately, Mad King George. 6. All fictional Georges are gay. Hurrah if the prince if he is too. 7. It's rubbish for rhyming. Think of the headlines. Every time he eats a cake, it'll be George Gorges. Every time he goes to an ironmonger, George Forges. To Cheddar, George at Gorge. If he meets a manipulative Italian, George with the Borgias. If he goes to a deli, George has a smorgasbord. And that last one isn't really a rhyme. Georgie Porgy, Pudding and Pie. This is number 8 now. Kissed the girls and made them cry. Was the bane of my primary school life. Not only does Porgy not mean anything, Pudding and Pie is an obvious reference to our new prince and me being fat, which I wasn't. And in our image-conscious society, all those photos of him and the fatness is just going to make him anorexic. But more importantly, Kiss the Girls and Made Them Cry, that's rape. Do we really want our young prince accused of rape before he even knows what a girl is? 9. Georgie does actually rhyme with orgy, which will be fitting if he's anything like his uncle, allegedly. Sorry, that should have been, which will be fitting if he's anything like his alleged uncle. 10. When he becomes king, we've had so many Georges, no one will be able to remember which one he is. And it's not original if he'll be George the 7th, or 8th, or 100th, or whatever it will be. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, it's my name, and I will be taking it back.